All right, so let's practice our digital date up here. So I have December 6th, 2019. What will be the digital date for December 6th, 2019? What you got? 12/6/19. 12 is our month. 6 is our day. Last to the year, 19. All right, 2/14/19. What will be the date for that one? The actual date. This is the digital form. What will be the other way?
February
14th,
2019.
Good. All right, let's look at my story problem. Ben has 4 cups with 2 cookies. How many cookies does he have in each cup? He has 4 cups with 2 cookies. What will be my multiplication fact to figure out how many cookies he has? Avaya, your screen needs to be on. Thank you. What's the multiplication fact? Well, yeah, but so 4 cups times 2 cookies in each cup is a total of how many? 8 cookies.
You just have to do it.
All right, count the tally marks. Tally marks, let's see. Y'all count the tally marks?
I know it.
$52.
Okay, how many you said, Dennis? Or whoever said that?
Joshua's 52.
52?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 52 tally marks. All right, you may need to draw these out, the coins, I don't know. So we have 6 dimes, 4 nickels, 8 pennies. How much would that be? 6 dimes, 4 nickels, 8 pennies. 6 dimes, 4 nickels, 8 pennies.
Yesterday.
Six dimes, 4 nickels, 8 pennies.
But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Okay, everybody has an amount? 6 dimes, 4 nickels, 8 pennies. What you got? 88 cents. Okay, next one. 7 quarters, 2 dimes, and a nickel. 7 quarters, 2 dimes, and a nickel.
Oh. No, that's right. So 7 quarters. What?
All right, anybody else amount? Still counting? Still counting, okay.
What is this? I'm fine. Oh, I'm almost done. But what is the other one? Got it. What is the other one? I'm rolling.
All right, we got it. Anybody else? Okay, Carson, what you got?
$2.
$2. So 7 quarters, 25, 50, 75, $1, $1.25, $1.50, $1.75, 85, 95, $2. All right, 163 plus 429. 163 plus 429. Let's add it up. Yeah. Hang on now.
I just second.
Okay.
Nobody knows. I'm saying that. Okay, that's what's on your way.
Okay, 3 plus 9 is 12. Put a 2, carry my 1, 1 plus 6 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 1 plus 4 is 5, 592. All right, 748 minus 362.
Miss Crucius, you said minus or plus?
Huh?
Did you say minus or plus?
Minus subtraction. Please. But okay, that's subtraction. Okay, 8 minus 2 is 6. What was that? Okay, 4 minus 6, we cannot do that. So we turn the 7 into a 6, add the 1, 14 minus 6 is 8, 6 minus 3. 3. You did 7 minus 3. That is 6 now. Yeah, $3.86. All right, good. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Already have your math quiz. You'll see a lot of it you on your quiz. All right, let's review prepositions. You need a little sleep paper, guys.
I have it.
No, you don't need the paper. Yeah. All right. So remember, what is a preposition?
A preposition is a word that shows the relationship of a noun, pronoun, or to another word in a sentence.
Yes. A preposition is a word that shows the relationship of a noun or pronoun to another word in a sentence. That is the job of a preposition. It shows the relationship of the noun and pronoun to the other part of a sentence. It usually acts as a connector, like it connects the two parts together so you can get an idea of how they're connected to one another. Okay? All right. So so today you are going to create sentences to connect. So yesterday and Monday, we learned list 1 and list 2. Does anyone remember list 1? Prepositions. We were supposed to write them down because you will have to put it on your test tomorrow. So list 1. Okay.
Board, across,
A board, above, about, and across. A board, about, above, across. That's list 1. List 2 we learned yesterday. After, against, at, instead above. List 2, guys. Y'all should have written it down.
After.
About, we just, okay.
Among.
Above, aboard, about, across. We said that. Against, after, at, after, against, at. That's why you have the paper. Online, do y'all have this written down?
Mm-hmm.
Don't come tomorrow with it on the test, and you're not telling me today. Among, after, against, among, at, around. Make sure you practice that tonight, guys, so that you are prepared for the test. You should be able to tell me without looking on something to tell me, right? It's not fair online if you're looking, while in person they cannot look at it. So make sure that you are studying so that you know it without looking at the paper. Okay? So these are our prepositions. You will have to give me the prepositions off of list 1 and list 2 on tomorrow. So just make sure that you review them. Okay? All right. So we've been practicing how the prepositions connect the two sentences. Like yesterday, we did a sentence with about, and then we had the book was about the bears. So we had the book and bears and about connected them together to show how they're connected. So that's what I want you to do today is create sentences with the noun or pronoun, with the preposition into the other part of a sentence. Okay? So let's look at number 1. It says bird, above, and tree. You have to create a sentence showing how the preposition above connects bird and tree. Go ahead and do that now. Probably do it on your paper so that you can take it home and you can study. Remind me. Second hand up or no? Oh. Well, she's Michael is tomorrow. I was talking to her. All right, let's hear your sentences. So we have bird, above, and tree. What we got? What you got? Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Carson. The bird went above the tree. Good. The bird flew above the tree. Anybody online has one? Dennis?
Yes. A bird flew above the tree.
The bird flew above the tree. Good. All right, let's do number 2. Sue against and Jan. This might be a little tricky. Sue against and Jan. Show me how the noun Sue, using the preposition against, connects to Jan. Yeah, might be from yesterday. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Get Sam. Read it.
Yep.
I'm ready, Miss Students.
Say that again?
I'm ready.
Oh, okay. All right. 1 second.
Maybe it's confident and like something.
Okay, all right, let's hear some of your sisters and Sue against and Jan. Okay, what you have? Sue went against Jan. Sue fought against Jan.
Sue bumped against Jan.
Sue went against Jan. What you say, Dennis?
Sue bumped against Jan.
Sue bumped against Jan. All right, good. All right, number 3, guys. Greg, after, and dog. Greg, after, and dog. Let's connect the noun Greg using the preposition after to dog.
Brain after the dog. Write it on our paper this one.
That's what you're doing. Okay, let's hear Greg, after, and dog. Greg, after, and dog.
Gosh, I got it.
Greg ran after the dog.
Greg ran after the dog. That's not
Okay,
Greg ran after his dog.
Greg fed the dog after she ate, but we say Greg ate, and after he fed the dog. Okay,
Greg ran after his dog.
Greg ran after his dog. Good. All right, and last one. Teacher about and storms. Teacher about and storms. Teacher about and storms.
Oh.
All right, let's go ahead and go over this one. Okay. Our teacher taught us about storms. That's what she was gonna say? Okay. I asked my teacher about storms.
Oh, God.
That would be more of like storms. Fine.
The teacher showed us around the storm.
Huh?
The teacher showed us around the storm.
About?
Phone.
Okay, anybody on the line? No? Okay. Okay. All right. So, guys, this is what you'll have to do on the test on tomorrow. You'll have to give the definition of a preposition, of course. You'll have to list 1, list 2, and then I'll have sentences you have to create with a noun or pronoun, a preposition, and then connecting it to another part of the sentence. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get out your science and social studies. Let's go over that. No, today's just a review and we do our questions. All right, let's start with our science. Science, page 96.
He does know.
All right. What you doing? I don't like.
I'm smoking in the roach.
Yeah, but I didn't even say anything. I wasn't talking to anybody. All right, so let's go ahead and go over science. Can you get your science out? All right, so last week we started talking up, our lesson was on insects, and we described how an insect looks. All insects have 6 legs, they have 3 parts of their body. So this week we were talking about how insects grow. So all insects go through either 3 or 4 stages of life. Some insects will go through 4 stages, like a butterfly, for example. And the stages that they go through in life is called the life cycle. They all start one way, they go through certain stages until they finally become an adult. So butterflies are an example of insects that go through 4 stages. The mother will lay the eggs, then it hatches as a larva, which is a caterpillar. Then it goes into a pupa, a cocoon, or a chrysalis, and then it comes out as a butterfly, which is the adult. And then that adult butterfly will lay eggs, then the cycle repeats itself. That's how the life cycle goes. It will constantly repeat itself, okay? Egg, larva, pupa, adult. Egg, larva, pupa, adult. That cycle will continue on and on as long as the adult is able to lay eggs, and the cycle will repeat itself. So a moth it's like a butterfly. It's different. The only thing that makes a moth is their color and their pattern that's different. And moths usually have a bigger body than caterpillars do. And a moth, instead of a pupa, they call it a cocoon. So some insects go through 4 stages, and some, like on 97, like a grasshopper, they go through 3 stages of life. A grasshopper, for example, goes from egg to nymph to adult. A nymph is what you call a baby grasshopper. They're smaller. They look like grasshoppers. They're just a lot smaller. And then when you see a larger grasshopper, you know that that's the adult. So again, the mother will lay the eggs. They hatch into a nymph, which are baby grasshoppers. And then they go through a process where they will continue to shed their outside skeleton several times because they're growing and they're stretching as they grow. So they'll shed the outside skeleton up until they grow big enough and they're done growing. And now they are an adult grasshopper. Okay. So on 98, that was just a whatever. Okay. So on 99, we then discuss harmful insects. Make sure you're on 99, guys, because we're about to answer our questions. On 99, we then discuss harmful insects because there are thousands, maybe even millions of insects in the earth. Some of them are beneficial, but some of them are very harmful. For example, flies. Flies can spread diseases. We know flies land everywhere, right? Like I gave you an example. They can land on trash, and then they try to land on your food. That's spreading germs. They spread diseases. Beetles, grasshoppers, they will affect crops. These are very harmful insects to farmers. When farmers find caterpillars or beetles or grasshoppers in their plants, they have to get rid of them because they will eat the crops and destroy the crops. Okay? Also, God made it though where some insects will eat those harmful insects, like praying mantises, which we talked about last week. It is good that they eat grasshoppers, right? It's because they get rid of them, right? A spider is not an insect, but spiders will eat flies and a lot of those other harmful insects, and that's a good thing because you want them to eat the harmful insects so those harmful insects aren't, causing a lot of problems like they do. Okay, so let's do the do you remember on 99. So what are the 4 stages of a butterfly? It starts off as a what? It starts off as an egg, then it's a larva, then a pupa, and then an adult. Write that down. Okay, number 2. What does a moth spin instead of a chrysalis? He calls it a cocoon. They call it a cocoon. It's the same thing, but it's just the same thing. All right. Number 3. What are the 3 growth stages of a grasshopper? Nymph, egg, nymph, adult. Egg, nymph. Yes, I said yes. Egg, nymph, adult.
You said I don't know, but he I don't know.
Are you serious? I'll put it up and don't get another one. Okay, number 4. Could a butterfly egg ever grow into a grasshopper?
Yeah.
Obviously, no, that can't happen. They're not the same thing. They are, but they're not. And then why not? Yes, God made the butterfly a butterfly and the grasshopper a grasshopper. All right, okay, we have that. Let's go to 100. Let's do our second part of our lesson this week. How God gave the animals protection.
Wait. We read that. Danger in away to I'm not. You said on the trail and
So God gives the animals protection, okay? So insects, we did discuss how they have ways of defending themselves. And so now we talked about how some animals have different ways to protect themselves. So for example, some animals aren't able to move fast, like a turtle, a skunk, for example, a porcupine. They aren't able to move fast. So God gave animals like the ones I named, different things that they can do so that they are able to protect themselves from predators, because predators are out there hunting and animals need to defend themselves if they have to. So a turtle, they move slow, but what they can do is they can hide inside of their shell and their shell will protect them. Skunks, they don't move fast either, but they can spray, right? And the spray will protect them. It runs off animals from them. And then the porcupine, he's slow moving, but he has quills, and his quills, he can shoot out his quills, which will stab or stick. No, because you're not drawing. Will stab or stick the predators that try to come after him. And then a baby fawn, it's a baby. They really can't defend themselves, but when they're babies, they have spots, and their spots help them to camouflage inside of the grass or flowers in the forest. Okay, on 100, on 102, some animals have really long legs, like deer, elk. They have really long legs so that they can run from those trying to hunt them. Birds have wings, obviously, to fly away. Some animals, like the possum, can play dead until the prey leaves them, and a predator leaves them, and some animals, they not only can play dead, but the smell will leave them, like it smells like they're dead. And most animals don't want dead. They won't eat on something that's dead already. So that's a good thing. Horns, antlers, tusks. Elephants have tusks. They use those to fight off. And then some predators will not eat certain kinds of butterflies because they taste bad. Like the butterfly has a way of, like, it's how they taste. It just doesn't taste good. And so some predators won't eat them. So all of these animals, and there's others, they all have ways to protect themselves, and that's how. Okay, so on 103, let's go ahead and answer the question on 103. So who is the designer who gave each animal a way to protect themselves? God, of course. Okay, number 2, what would happen to animals if God had not given them some form of protection? Yep, they would be killed quickly.
I'm done.
Imaginary.
3, do all animals have the same form of protection? No, they all have something catered to where they live and who they are. Okay, number 4, what is a baby deer called? A fawn. Okay, number 5, name an animal and how God protected them. I just went through the list, so you go ahead and write it on your own. An animal and how they protect themselves. Didn't I say stop?
Wait a minute. Well, I don't know that. That's the easiest one. Bless you. You welcome. No, what? You know. Come on. Oh, I think you know. Okay, faith. And they're back. Faith. Explain the right answer. I mean, faith triumph. Faith triumph. And why did Buffalo
Okay. All right. So good. All right, guys. It's gonna be a social studies. Talking about cowboys and cattle ranching, page 122.
I love that.
122.
What page again, Miss Logan?
122. Okay, so cattle ranching. So guys, if you remember, after the invention of the railroad, it did change a lot of things in America. And one of those things was the way that people were able to transport different things from east to west, like meat, for example. So as the demand for certain meats increased, people began to get into the business of cattle ranching. They began to make ranches. A ranch is where someone has cattle. That's, you know how a farmer has a farm where they have a variety of animals. A rancher only has cattle. So that's cows, and they'll have horses. That's the animals that they'll have on their cattle. So how they would do that is in the West, the animals lived freely, they roamed freely. But what a rancher would do is he would get a lasso and he would round up a bunch of the cattle, however many he wanted. He would capture them and catch them, and then they would brand them. That's what that is on 122 on the side, the lazy S, the rocking K, the walking A. They would get a hot piece of metal that was shaped into a letter or a symbol. They would put it in they would put it in heat, and then they would press it on the cow to brand the cow. And that's so they would let everyone know that those were their cows. So if anyone tried to take their cow, they couldn't take the cow because the cow would have that brand on it of whoever the owner was. So there were different ranchers who came along, they rounded up their own cows, and they were able to use the cows. They used the cows. They would, of course, take meat from the cows, and they would be able to send it different places by using the railroad. And so, of course, the rancher, he needed to take care of his cows because there were people who would try to steal the cows, which were rustlers, and sometimes the cows would run away. So they would hire what was called a cowboy, literally cowboy. They would hire a cowboy who would have the job of taking care of the cattle. The cowboy would often stay out in the fields with the cattle, making sure that the cattle were safe, that no rustlers were trying to steal the cattle, and also to make sure that the cattle didn't run away. They would stay with them, protecting them. That was their job. Cowboys, they would take care of the cows, the cattle. Okay? So on 123, we discussed how the cowboy would dress. He had to dress a certain way so that he would be prepared for his job as a cowboy. Of course, he would wear a cowboy hat to protect him from the hot sun and rain, a bandana because it was dusty in that area in the West. So he would have a bandana to cover his mouth and nose to keep the dust from getting in. He would have chaps, which would protect his legs. Boots, of course, because he's working with these animals. He needs heavy duty boots to keep his feet in the saddle, but also to protect his feet. And then he would have spurs, which would help him signal the horse whenever they were doing cattle drives, which we'll talk about next week, cattle drives. He would have a lariat, which was a rope that they would use to lasso a cow. They would just spin it to capture the cow if the cow was running away or anything. And then he have a saddle where he would not only use the saddle to ride the horses, but he would use the saddle as his pillow at night. So the cowboys would ride horses, and the horses would help them to get the cows where they need them to go. Okay, so they lived with the cows. That's what they did. Their job was to live with the cows. And a lot of times the herds, the cattle, they would be like over 1,000 different cows. So that's why they really needed the cowboys, right? Because that's a lot of cows to have at one time. And so they needed help. The ranchers needed help, and that's why they hired the cowboys. Okay, so on 124, let's go ahead and answer our questions on 124. Okay, number one, what were the men who looked after the cattle called? Cowboys. Number two, describe one thing a cowboy wore and why it was important. So you can write that on your own. So go back to 123. Look at one of his things that he wore, write why it was important. Yes. Mm-hmm. Put it in your book set. We're about to get on Zoom. Yeah, y'all can put the puzzles up. Y'all, we're about to get on Zoom.
I put the meat.
Why are you saying that?
I did not put Ben in. I rather, I think it's a. A little bit in. They put it so tight because they kept things so starting with the fall. I felt barely breathe. I couldn't even breathe. It was not my chance. I said, what did I tell my head? One time I wanted to share, I think I went on video. I'm about to get through my picture. I made half of the book. I'm about to get through my picture. Oh, that. So we make half.
Okay, and number 3, why did the ranchers need the cowboys? To keep, so the cows wouldn't roam and leave. Right, there was no fences, so they needed them to protect the cows and to keep them safe. Okay, all right, guys, that's your social studies this week. All right, let's go ahead and go over your spelling one last time before your test on Friday. Yeah, they should be at the bottom. Check down there at the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and go over your spelling, guys. List 26.
Bot B-O-U-G-H pause C-A-U-S-E pause August capital A-U-G-U-S-T August awful A-W-F-U-L
All right, let's go ahead and go over our list. All right, number 1, but.
B-O
2, cause.
pause
C-A-U-S,
pause August A-U-G-U-S-T August
4, awful.
A-F-W-S-U-L awful lawn L-A-W-N lawn aunt A-U-N-T aunt yawn Y-A-W-N-E yawn straw S-T-R-A-W straw daughter D-A-U-G-H-T
9, daughter.
thoughtful
Ten, thoughtful.
T-H-O-G-H-T-F-U-L thoughtful
11, applesauce.
A-P-P-L-E-S-A-U-C-E applesauce
12, crawl.
C-R-A-W
13, laundry.
13 laundry L-A-U-N-D-R
14, pot.
pot F-O-U-G-H-T pot
15, street.
S-T dot
16, avenue.
15 avenue
17, USA.
dot S-T United States of America U
All right,
dot S
vocabulary,
dot
18, knowledge.
knowledge and N K
19,
N
assign.
O L E D G E means understand.
20, rain.
Assign ASSING.
All right, look at your Greek and Latin, Pendo.
Pendo PENDO means calm sister.
It means consider. Super.
Consider super SUPER super. It means above.
Sub.
SUB sub means under.
Rumpo.
Rumpo RUMPO rumpo.
Breakdown.
It means break.
Pack.
Pax PAX pax, and it means
All right,
peace.
good. All right, guys, so that's it for our Zoom. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Bible, and we have our final test on tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye.